Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. It's me, your boy Emmanuel G, and I'm back with Love Mondays. Hey, it's been an amazing journey. Thank you all for the support, the love that you've shown. Thank you so much for even the likes, the subscriptions, and thank you for sharing with your friends. So many networks, have received these messages, and man, I'm getting calls and DMs from all over the world, like literally. So guys, I truly appreciate you. So today we're going to talk about something that I'm very passionate about. I feel like I say that every week because I feel like I'm passionate about everything. Yeah. So just ignore that and just imagine that this one is more passionate than the others, right? If at all possible. But anyway, so I want to ask you a question. I want to start by asking you a question. Do you experience fights and quarrels in your relationship, or do you experience fights and quarrels in your marriage and you can't make sense of them? So today that's what we're going to talk about. That's the attribute we're going to tackle today, and the attribute is love fights fair. Love fights fair. All right, so that's what we're going to talk about today, and we're going to start now. Typically, when you begin your relationship, you're in the dream stage. And when you're in the dream stage, you're all starry-eyed about each other. You know, there's nothing wrong. I mean, everything this person tells you, you're like, guy, stop it. And, always blushing and stuff, and you kind of enjoy that stage. They could tell you that, this crust is in your eyes, just feel like diamonds. And, you're just like, oh, that was so sweet. No, it was very corny. It's just that you're in the dream stage and you're just starry-eyed about this person. And then we get used to each other, especially once we get married. We settle in and people now start becoming to their default setting, and the marketing stage is over. And as someone begins to settle in, then their default setting, comes into play, and you begin to see, this is the real person that I am having to deal with. And then, then the misunderstandings come, the frustrations come, then the quarrels come, and the heated debates and the heated arguments. And man, you just can't seem to get over those things. And you're just like, asking yourself, man, did I make a mistake? Folks, I am here to tell you that no, you did not make a mistake. Listen, this is what happens in marriage. Marriage has its path. It starts with the dream stage, then it goes to the drama stage. In the drama stage, what you're doing is you're literally, ironing out the rough edges. And as you iron out the rough edges, and it'll cause some friction. And that's what's happening. So this stage is actually a good stage. This means that you're actually learning to get closer to each other. Now, with that will come lots of fights. Listen to what Mark says in Mark 3:25. This is what he says. If a house is divided against itself, the house will not be able to stand. Now, most marriages, most relationships will take a downturn and end up probably breaking up or end up in divorce when we get to this stage. In fact, lots of marriages from year 2 begin to break up and end up in divorce because of this, because of all this, commotion that's happening, and all this frustration and all this anger and all these heated arguments. And this typically causes lots of marriage to now begin going separate ways. Now, even if it doesn't end up in divorce, but it also has the tendency to begin getting the couple, flowing in a more, direction that's away from the other person, because you're experiencing these hurts. But Mark here is telling you that if a house is divided, it shall not stand. So what then are we supposed to do during this season? Now, allow me to share two different things that we can do, and it's creating boundaries within your relationship, setting the right boundaries so that when you get to this stage of your life that you will be able to overcome it and even actually thrive through it. And allow me, the two things that I want to, the two kind of boundaries are the we boundaries and the me boundaries. And here's what the we boundaries says. The first one is, when we're setting these boundaries, we need to tell each other that we won't divorce. Now, in our day and age today, we have been given an option in life, and that option is that, man, if this ain't working, there's another guy I can go and get. Unfortunately, is if you move to a different partner, you have to start the cycle again, and you have to go through the same cycle. So you'll still go through drama stage, and the issues will be there. So it's on you to choose to ride through this storm so that you can actually get onto the other side, get onto the discovery, and hopefully to the depth stage. So the second thing is, we will not bring up unrelated items. Yo, have you ever been in that heated debate with your special someone and you were talking about the dishes, 10 minutes later, you're talking about how they didn't pick you up from work, and you're like, wait, what does this have to do with the dishes? What does this have to do with so-and-so who we met, keep the unrelated stuff from the, if there's a particular thing that you are discussing and arguing about, keep it to that. Now, the third one is, we will not fight in public or in front of the kids. Now, when you do that, typically what that does, it dishonors the other person. And, you never really resolve anything when you do that. When you do it in front of kids, what it does, it causes damage in the kids, and it causes some, instability and insecurity in your children. So it's important that you do it in private, just the two of you, so that, you don't, create embarrassment, or you actually work towards resolving it. The next thing is, we will call a timeout when conflict is escalating to a damaging level. Now, it's important to understand. Now, there's some arguments where when you just get into it, you are really passionate about what it is, and you're passionate about letting your person know, this is exactly how I feel. And sometimes in those moments, we choose to even do at whatever cost, I will win this argument. In those moments, it's important for you to say that, we need to take a time out, because where this is going, it's not going towards a resolution, it's going towards more cutting each other down. So it's important to put that ground rule that we will call a timeout when the conflict is escalating towards a damaging level. Now, the other thing is, we will never get physical. Hello. One of the things I'm totally against is laying hands on a woman, or a woman laying hands on a man. I don't think it's becoming. I don't think it helps an argument at all. I think it escalates an argument. It demeans somebody, and it's just not helpful to your marriage or to your relationship. So keep away from being physical. The next thing is that we will never go to bed angry at each other. Now, this one is easier said than done. I remember in my first year of marriage, every moment before we go to bed, if we had an issue, would say, babe, I just don't want to go to bed angry. Just say, I'm sorry for what I did. But the longer I stayed and the more she did the things, I was just like, you're just messing with me. Get out of here. And I'd go to bed angry. So reversing that was a very difficult thing. Until now, some days I go to bed angry, she goes to bed angry. So it's a work in progress, but it's because we didn't set those ground rules in the beginning. So we're now, trying our best to get back to that. But once you've done something once, it becomes easier to do it again. So remember that ground rule. Do not go to bed angry. Try to resolve everything within that day. Don't carry it to the next day. The last one is, we will do whatever it takes to work it out. What I'm saying here is not just argue and justify your position. I think sometimes it's important for us to consider compromise, consider, listening to the other person, consider, their position on this, so that you don't, escalate. In fact, I believe that every argument should be working towards a resolution and not just pointing out what the issues are. Yes, point out the issues, but work towards a resolution. All right, now the other ones is the me boundaries. These are the rules that we personally establish by ourselves, that we say we are going to practice whenever we get into marriage or we get into the situation where, we have the heated arguments. The first one is, I will listen to understand before I speak. Now, typically what we do is we listen to respond. Yeah? I know you feel me. Yeah, I saw you smiling. I saw you smiling. I saw you smiling. Yes, you typically listen to respond. You typically listen to give your excuse, to give your justification of why you did that. Listen, I think it's important for us to listen to understand where that person is coming from, and to understand what it is about what you did caused them to feel the way they are feeling. Listen, James 1:9 says that, or is it 1:19, talks about, be quick to listen and slow to speak. Man, those are some really, really wise words. I know I've failed in that. And there's one of those things we call foot and mouth disease, putting my foot in the mouth. I've been a victim of it. Anyway, the next one is, I will deal with my own issues up front. Guys, Matthew says in chapter 7, verse 3, why are you looking at the speck in the other person's eye and ignoring the log in your eye? So it's important to first look back inside to who you are, and then work on you as you pray for your partner. And the last one is, I will speak gently and in a calm tone. King Solomon, who knows a little bit about relationships, said, a gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. This is in Proverbs 15:1. You guys can check out these scriptures. So basically what I'm saying is, for you to work on your quarrels and your whatever, you need to change the weapons that you're using. A lot of us are using many jagged, sharp edges, and it's cutting each other and breaking our relationships. I remember, in counseling sessions, when you go to say a psychiatrist and they want you to release anger towards each other, they give you this foam, those plastic foams, and you hit each other. You really can't get hurt, but the truth is you're beating and releasing your anger on that person. You did it, I was upset with you, you made me feel this way. And you go all nuts and crazy on them, but you're really not hurting them, or so change your fighting weapons, so that you can actually de-escalate the arguments that you're going. So the love there for today, this week actually, is sit down, take a moment to sit down with your partner, and based on what you've had, begin to set some ground rules and say, hey babe, hey honey, hey sweets, whatever word you use for, whatever pet name you use for them, just tell them, hey, we need to sit down and set some ground rules of how we're going to be engaging with each other, especially if you have one of you who's very passionate, super passionate. Set those ground rules so that you can actually have healthy conversation, fruitful conversations, and conversations that will build you up rather than tear you down. Hey guys, that's all for today. Again, my name is Emmanuel G. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you next Monday on Love Mondays. Peace, I'm out.